back for more. We are going to factor and solve polynomials this time. So first thing we want to do is factor. So step 1, factor. That's a 1. 2, solve. Okay. So first thing I want to do is I want to factor out the GCF, GCD. So between 5 and 20, the GCF is the largest number that will go into both. Remember that trick I taught you with your calculator? You go to math, go over to number, go down to GCD, and I can put a 5, 20, and I get a 5. Okay. And then I always pick the smallest. So x squared and x. X. I always pick the smallest, so it's x. So 5x is my factor. 5x. Okay, divide these. 5 divided by 5 is 1. X squared and x1, I'm going to subtract. So it's just x. And then 20 divided by 5 is 4. And this is a plus because everything's positive on this one. And then x to the first and x to the first. So that is it like that. Then you can go ahead and try it out. 5x times 1x is 5x squared. 5x times 4 is 20x. So we did it right. And now to solve, so we did our factoring. Now we're going to solve. Set each one equal to 0. So I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. So x equals 0. And then this one, I really should have just wrote x plus 4 equals 0. Minus 4 minus 4. X equals negative 4. So my two solutions are x equals 0 and x equals negative 4. Okay, let's go to the next one. Everything is separated by the equal sign, so I really need to move it around first. So I need a minus 36b. So it becomes a 0. And this is negative 36b. And this is 8b squared. Okay, so I need to do my GCF of 8 and 36. So I need to look and see what number goes into both of those. 8 won't go into 36, so I go back a factor, which would be 4. 4 will go into 36. So we have 4. Then we take our smallest variable. So we have a squared and b. So it'd have to be b. So 4b is my factor. So 4b. And let's divide. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And then subtract b squared and b, make it b. Okay, next one. Negative 36 divided by 4 is a negative 9. And b1 and b1, 1 minus 1 is 0. So we do not have a variable there. Equals 0. So now I have the two factors that I said equal to 0. So 4b equals 0. So I divide by 4. So b equals 0. And 2b minus 9 equals 0. So plus 9. 2b equals 9. Divided by 2. X equals 9 divided by 2 is 4.5. Okay, so we have two answers. Oh, I don't want to put x equals. So b equals 0 and b equals 4.5. So those are my two solutions. Okay, the next one, 12x squared plus 28x. So we want the GCF of 12 and 28. So you can think about it. You can do it in your calculator. Let's see. I'm going back and forth because I want you to get the hang of it without, but know that the calculator is there to help you. So it'd be 4. And then we pick the smaller of the exponents. We have x squared and x. So it'd have to be x. So 4x is my factor. Okay, 12x squared. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then subtract x squared and x. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then 28 divided by 4 is 7, so plus 7. X and x, so we don't get any x's. Now we set these equal to 0, so 4x equals 0, and 3x plus 7 equals 0. And we solve each one, so divide by 4, x equals 0. And then this one, we're going to subtract 7 on both sides. 3x equals negative 7, divide by 3, divide by 3. 7 divided by 3, because it's a dividing by 3, that's a repeating, so I'm going to leave it as a decimal. Because like the last one was 9 divided by 2, that's 4.5. But negative 7 divided by 3 is repeating, so we're not going to put that one. Instead, we're just going to write it as its fraction form. There are the two solutions. Okay, hopefully you're getting it. Stay with me. Okay, so let's try this one out. Go ahead and pause it, try it out, and then come back and I'll help you through it. 4 and 5. So go ahead and pause it. Try these out. Okay, now that you've unpaused it, hopefully you've done each one of these. I want you to go through and check and see if you did it right. So I'm going to subtract the 40x first thing. 15x squared minus 40x equals 0. So I need a factor. I need to do my GCF. Let's look at our digits, 15 and negative 40. What number goes into both of those? They're multiples of 5, so it's 5. And then x squared and x, just x. So we always pick our smallest. So this would be 5x on the outside. And then we are going to divide 15 by 5 is 3. And then x, so 2 minus 1 is just x. Negative 40 divided by 5 is a negative 8. And then x1 and x1 will take us out of the x's, so we won't have that. Equals 0. So now we solve each one, so 5x equals 0. X equals 0. And then 3x minus 8 equals 0. So I add 8. 3x equals 8. Divide by 3. So 8 over 3. So our two solutions, x equals 0 and x equals 8 over 3. Okay, we have two solutions there. Okay, and then our last one, 26x plus 2. So we have a 26 and we have a 2. I mean, why did I write 6? I don't know. 2. The only factors of 2 are 2 and 1. 2 will go into 26, so 2. And then we have an x, and then we have nothing. So our only factor is 2. So 2, parentheses. We don't have a variable on the outside. 26 divided by 2 is 13. And then we don't have an x, so it's kind of like saying x to the 0, so we're going to leave the x on there. And then 2 divided by 2 is 1, so plus 1. And there's no variable on that either. Not either, but on the front you don't have a variable. And so here you don't have a variable. Because 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 13 is 26. So now we say 2 equals 0. Not true. But we do have that 13x plus 1 equals 0. So this is not a solution. So this must be the solution. X equals negative 1 over 13. Okay, so we just have one solution because that first one didn't work out. And also what I realized, we could actually do this as 26x equals, if I move this out, negative 2. Divide by 26. And that gets me the same thing, negative 1 over 13. So see how they're the same? Two different ways of doing it. All right, so you're going to practice factoring and solving now. See y'all later.